So yeah, once in a blue moon, the market here offers some super rare and very expensive items, but should you buy? And yeah, that's what we're taking a look at today because a few items have appeared in the shop and they are expensive. For example, this one is 4.7 million and this one over here is another 4.7 million. So are these items worth it? We'll dive in. And another question, is rosin worth fusing? We'll talk about that later in the video. But yeah, I'm also doing something very special today for new users. If you want to get your hands on Teodor, an amazing epic support champion, and yes, Ugo as well, for completely free, follow the link in the description below or scan that QR code on the screen. And yes, you'll get a ton of free starter resources to give you the best head start in Raid. You can also obtain an amazing legendary as well, Sun Wukong, and it's quite simple. All you got to do is head on over here to promo codes and enter Monkey King. I can't show you it right now because I already entered a promo code, which, by the way, you can find an amazing new promo code video on my channel that I just posted. Highly recommend you checking that out if you want even more resources. That is for everyone. You don't have to be a new user for that one, but check that out. But anyway, yeah, let's get into this. Let's talk about the market because there are some really super rare items that have been showing up. And a lot of you guys are wondering, hey, should I really invest the silver into this or not? So I say we start out with this one right here. It says, I'm tempted to buy, and we have a Savage Shield, which is a 6-star. Not too shabby whatsoever. That's an excellent start. Defensive rating is 35. We have 6% crit damage, and crit rate is the same, sitting at 6%. But we also have speed and accuracy. So these are some really, really good stats first and foremost. But it also ignores 25% of enemy defense. 4 artifacts are required to activate that bonus. And remember, that's not really our focus, getting that bonus. It is nice, of course, if you can pull that off, but the main focus is the stats. Don't go for the set bonuses exactly. But let's see what the community is saying here. If we scroll on down here, Mick says, I would, yes, it might roll bad, but how much energy are you spending to get a 6-star legendary with good substats? That is a great point right there. And, you know, people agreeing as well. Now, Biohack makes a really important note here. He says, for those who might not be aware, you cannot roll attack in a shield slot. This means your best in slot stats for a shield on attack-based nuker are speed, crit rate, crit damage, and either accuracy or HP percentage, depending on whether the champ needs accuracy or not. That means that this is essentially a perfect legendary piece for many champions in the game. And while ideally you might multi-roll speed, regardless of how this rolls, it will still be an excellent piece. Yeah, you know, people agree that this piece is incredible. It's like an obvious thing to absolutely go in here. And I think the 4.7 million is definitely worth it in this case. So if you guys have this appear in your market, go for it. That's all I have to say. But moving on here, what about this one? He says, I guess it's worth it. And he says, it's a pretty steep price, but it's a 6-star speed boots with okay substats before it quad rolls flat defense. All right, so let's take a look. We are again sitting at a 6-star speed. Love speed. It is on the boots, which is where you want speed to be. HP 6% and attack 6%. Accuracy is sitting at 10 and defense at 19. Now, it only requires 2 artifacts per set, which is nice. It's not like the 4 artifact requirement to get that speed plus 12% bonus. So it is kind of smart to actually try to find, you know, the second piece that you would require. As long as it's a really, really good stat-based piece of armor, then you should be good to go. But hey, teaming that up with this artifact here, you would get that bonus, which is huge. But let's see what everyone is saying about this 4.7 million silver price tag. So let's get into it. We have Agile Moment saying, yep, got to, and definitely at least +2 on that flat defense every single time. So people are saying, hey, go for it. Now, Silly Captain says this. Yes, if your account just needs more speed boots, chances are most players just need speed boots with speed main stat in general. Absolutely. Now, Wildfire pitches in here saying speed set 6-star with speed main stat. Absolutely an easy buy at lower level. Late game players can obviously be picky, but for most players, this piece would be very valuable. Yeah, it would be huge for, of course, running through the campaign quicker and for faction wars, all sorts of reasons why you need speed. Now, also, No Dark Vision says, hell yeah, it is a 6-star speed boot, is several hundred dragon runs, and you still might not get that one. That boot is worth several thousand energy. So you got to consider the energy cost as well with this sort of thing. So overall, it's a no-brainer. Yes, it seems expensive, but at the end of the day, it seems like this price point here is actually fair to what you actually gain out of this set of boots. So that is huge. And just as a reminder, if you want some amazing epic support champions for free as a new user, you can obtain Ugo and yes, Teodor right now, absolutely for free by following that link in the description below or scanning that QR code on the screen, and they will be yours, as well as a ton of free starter resources to give you the absolute best start in Raid Shadow Legends. But we got another question here. We have, is Rosin worth fusing? This is a great question. You know, there's still several options at the summoning portal here. But anyway, let's get into this and talk about it. We have Carl the Well-Endowed who says, yes, for 30k CVC points, if nothing else. Also, free Redivit says, I think it's required for Arbiter. We also have worth the 30k CVC points worth pulling during a champ chase for easy points, worth pulling for faction wars. He doesn't provide much as a champion. He has been grossly power crept, but adding another champ to the roster never hurts. Faction wars and Curse City inspire people to get creative with champs and teams. Yeah, and some people are noting that he's required also for one of the progression missions. As a champ, he is F tier. Oof, let me know if you guys agree with that or not, but let's take a look at some of his ratings. All right, so here he is. Let's find out how the community is feeling about him. And oh boy, yeah, ouch. So yeah, I can see he is not the most popular champion whatsoever in Raid, which is kind of interesting, but to have him required is also kind of a bummer because you're kind of stuck with a champion that's kind of meh, you know, later on in the game. But overall, Rosin is going to be more useful for just progressing through the game than just keeping him around on your team, especially in the long term. But yeah, let me know how you guys are feeling about Rosin, if you actually use him like more in the end game for Raid or not, or if you just absolutely say skip him. But yeah, curious on your take on that one. But I do have some champions that you definitely do want to use, and they are, of course, Teodor and Ugo. And guess what? You can acquire them today for absolutely free as a new user. Follow that link in the description below or scan that QR code on the screen and you will obtain them both for free, as well as a bunch of starter resources. But guys, there it is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more. Smack that like button if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Take care.